I'm amazed, Mark, when the things that you know and the things that I learned from you are so easy to implement, but people just are not aware. And so that's why I really want to promote you and feature you as a guest expert. How can people learn more from you about statement analysis?
Well, I have a website, statementanalysis.com. Please visit that website. Anything I see in the news of national interest, if I can get a hold of a transcript, I will analyze it, post it on my website. There's probably over 40 cases on there right now. And by reading my analysis of these high-profile cases, helps you to learn more about the techniques. Because anything I see in those statements, I'm going to point it out, and you'll gain some additional information. Also, if you go to my website, online training, as you mentioned, it's the same information I share in my one-day seminars. And check my speaking engagements there to see if I'm going to be anywhere near your city. But the on-demand training is a very good way of taking it. And just this year, I switched to a new platform. It's a lot more interactive type of training. So it's been updated for 2018. Also, if you go to my website, you'll see I've written 2 books on the subject. The first one is called I Know You're Lying. I think you've got them there. I read this one. This one came out in 2001. It talks about the statement analysis techniques, but half the book is dedicated to analyze some high-profile cases. Who's being truthful, who's being deceptive in the John Benet Ramsey murder, O.J. Simpson murder trial, Dr. Martin Luther King assassination, and 5 more high-profile cases. Applying the statement analysis techniques to these cases.
How does this book differ from this book?
Yeah, my second book came out in 2012, and it's called Don't Be Deceived, and it discusses the only 3 ways you can tell if somebody's lying without the aid of a machine, and that is through statement analysis, body language, and handwriting analysis. Now, handwriting analysis is better suited towards personality traits, but there are some indications in a person's handwriting that they might be secretive and therefore withholding some information. 1 chapter on handwriting. There are 3 chapters on body language. Some of the more prominent things we see when a person is being deceptive in their body language. But the majority of the book is about the statement analysis techniques and what to look for. There are some additional techniques in this book that I don't cover in the I Know You're Lying, but the Don't Be Deceived gives you all 3 techniques, the body language and handwriting as well, that you can look for. Because as you know, it's you want to take advantage of everything a person gives you. So it's not just listening to what they're saying, but it's also looking at any body language, any gestures that they use, which also can be telling.
Yes, statement analysis, body language, and handwriting analysis gets you closer to the truth.
I really learned so much after reading your 2 books, but additionally through going through your online course. Can you describe your online course?
Well, the online course goes in more details than what I have in the books, and some additional techniques as well in the on-demand course. It is on demand. You can log in anytime you want and complete it. You don't have to log in at a certain time. It's not a group type of training, but you can take the training at your own pace. At the end of each lesson, there are a very short quiz, maybe 3 or 4 questions that ask about what was taught in that particular lesson to make sure you're understanding and grasping the techniques. There are some statements that you can analyze, compare your analysis with a completed one to see how well you're doing. And then at the very end of the training, the final test statement, I have people send me their analysis using an online form. I'll review the analysis, give them some feedback on how well they're doing with the training. And then there is a certificate of completion that you can print after you complete the training. Usually about every month, every other month, I'm conducting several statement analysis seminars somewhere within the U.S. And they're open to anyone. Most of the seminars are open to anyone who wants to attend. You have human resources people, loss prevention. Anybody who conducts interviews would benefit from the training. But most of the training are held at police departments. So, and because of my background, most of the people in attendance are law enforcement officers that are taking the training, investigators and detectives. They've been doing this for years, but a lot of the comments I get is, I wish I knew this 20 years ago. And myself too, as I progressed through my career as well. Or a lot of times I point out things that they've heard, but they didn't realize what they were hearing. They didn't realize what it meant. And so that helps them in their investigations as well. A lot of it is actual cases that the Marshal Service puts on a 2-week huge investigators class. We have local detectives from around the country come down for this training, and I would teach in those classes as well. But also give me an opportunity to develop a rapport with these detectives, and they would, again, send me their written statements that they've got from a suspect. I would analyze those statements and help them out in their investigations. And so a lot of it was based on actual statements, or all of it was based on statements that people were giving, whether they were giving them to me or to another detective who then forwarded them to me to take a look at. I do have, and you'll see it if you go to my website, a statement analyzer. It's a program that will analyze a statement for you. You can type a statement in there, hit the analyze button, and within seconds, it's going to scan that statement and point out certain keywords, but most importantly, it's going to tell you why those keywords were flagged. So if it sees a present tense verb, it's going to tell you the person used this present tense verb and what that indicates, that perhaps that portion of their statement is not coming from memory. Now, I used to sell us a software. You download it on your computer. It was good for that one computer. And a couple years ago, I did away with the software and went to an online version. So now you can access the training from any device, anywhere in the world. Any updates I put in there are automatic. And so we sell it as a 1-year subscription. There's also a 1-day subscription, for people who don't conduct interviews. They have a statement they want to analyze. They can purchase that. And for 24 hours, they can access the program and analyze as many statements as they want. And then the same applies for the 1-year subscription as well. It can be used as often as you want, analyzing a statement. It will not tell you if the statement is true or false. It's going to leave that up to you based on the totality of what it discovered. For example, if it sees the word never, it's going to explain that there are correct ways to use the word never and there are incorrect ways to use the word never. You can't use the word never as a substitute for the word no. So then you would have to look at the statement to see how the person used that word. If they used it correctly, then that's acceptable. If they use it in lieu of the word no, then it's an indication of deception. So it's just a quick way of analyzing a statement. A lot of investigators use it. When people send me statements to analyze, I will still personally analyze them, but I'll run it through the program as well, because sometimes you'll see something that you just forget about, or it may detect something that you didn't receive training in. But again, it'll point out why that word was flagged.
Get the books. I went through the online course to understand statement analysis. Both of his books are exceptionally good. Is there a third book, Mark?
There's not a third book, and I don't think there will be. Writing books is hard. I'd rather speak for 2 weeks than write another book.
But your books are very easy to understand. Now, these manuals come with what? Are these part of the online training?
Part of the online training, and now that it's all online now, so you can print each lesson, the manual for each lesson. We don't send out the workbook itself now that we've got it all online.
What are some of the quotes that you give the audience to really hone in on the importance of statement analysis?
Well, I always sign my emails by saying, people's words will betray them only if someone is listening. If you don't listen, then people get away with stuff. So you got to listen to what people are saying. And again, if you just take the time to really think about what they're saying, a lot more things will come to light. Even if you haven't had much training, you'll still be able to realize that something's not quite right with this person's statement.
So you really have to pay attention to the words and to the body. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Janette.